Morning students, I am Professor Nitesh Sharma. Students, today I am teaching you dairy products. I am giving you the important information about the dairy products. This topic, dairy products, is included in the paper second Genetics and Biotechnology of BSc Part 2nd. So students, dairy products or milk products are a type of food produced from or containing the milk of mammals. They are primarily produced from mammals such as cattle, water buffaloes, goats, sheep, camels, and humans. Dairy products include food items such as yogurt, cheese, and butter. So, student, dairy products are extremely diverse as a result of the robust composition of milk and the types of microorganisms that can grow in milk. The first dairy products were a result of the accidental introduction of microorganisms in milk. The introduction of harmful microorganisms can result in severe food poisoning, whereas beneficial ones can result in a product that is safe, nutritious, and tasty. Over time, the types of microorganisms that can give rise to specific products have been identified, characterized, and standardized. Inocula created. The majority of the organisms used for fermenting dairy products are lactic acid bacteria because of their ability to convert lactose to lactic acid efficiently. Lactic acid helps to increase acidity, coagulate proteins, and prevent the growth of undesirable organisms. Such minor metabolic and products and degradation of proteins and lipids also contribute to the flavor of dairy products. The diversity of dairy products is a result of the different types of milk used, the microorganisms, and the type of processes used. So, students, milk and milk products occupy a more significant role in the human food profiles. The study of microorganisms that are associated with milk and milk products in all aspects is defined as dairy microbiology. So, students, now we are going to study the dairy products. From very first dairy product is milk. Milk is described as a whole, fresh, clean lacteal secretion obtained from the complete milking of healthy milk animal. Excluding this milk is obtained within 15 days before or 5 days after calving to render the milk practically colostrum free, containing the minimum prescribed levels of fat and solids non fat. Now, milk hygiene. Milk hygiene is concerned with the production of clean, wholesome milk that is free from bacteria or other disease causing microorganisms and maintenance of this condition from farm to the consumers. In general, milk is considered as the most nutritious and complete food for neonates and adult human beings both. Students, dairy industry provides an excellent example where bacteria, yeast, molds, and viruses are very important in determining the quality of final product. The control and destruction of undesirable microorganisms as well as their intentional introduction and utilization are problems that need special attention. The nutritional qualities of milk make it a desirable food for humans and other young animals. However, these nutritional values also permit growth of many microorganisms, some of which cause undesirable changes in milk and its products. Milk's sanitary qualities are influenced by many factors in the course of production, processing, and delivery of the delivery to the consumers. So students, an example of dairy industry which is dependent to a larger extent on the desirable enzymatic changes caused by microorganisms in cheese, making the flavors and the texture of cheese are largely ascribed to the conversion of milk constituents by various species. Few bacterial and mold species are added intentionally to cheese during manufacturing, and much of the microbial activity in that takes place during ripening are due to microbial species that enter the milk by chance at different stages. The taste and aroma are competitive assets of butter starter cultures that are mixed bacterial cultures selected for acid and flavor producing ability are important in the manufacture of flavored butter. The conditions in which optimum flavor develops and the relationships with microbes are well known, and certainly the changes brought about by the starters are desirable. So, students, yogurt, sour cream, and buttermilk are some of the examples of fermented milks made by different intervention of microorganisms to milk, cream, and skim milk. Respectively, each of those products has a characteristic microflora that is partly responsible for its characteristic flavor and texture. It is also possible to ferment milks having desired properties, that is, flavor and acid producing, by using starter cultures. Microbial conversion of certain constituents of milk into economically valuable products like vitamins, solvents, and food adjuncts can be done commercially these days. On the other hand, milk constituents that have no economic significance or that are usually wasted must be converted to stably oxidized and non obnoxious substances prior to their discharge into the environment. Here also, microbial activity is responsible for the desired changes in the organic constituents of dairy wastes, dung of sewage treatment. So, students, microbes are undesirable in milk or its products. If these deteriorate flavor or texture and produce diseases, it is important that dairy microbiologists understand the facts that influence and deterioration of milk and the methods through which this type of deterioration can be prevented. Souring of milk or cream is undesirable under majority of situations, but souring, that is production of lactic acid, is essential also for the manufacture of cheese or cultured milk products. Discolorations, slimeness, ropiness, putrefaction, rancidity, gasiness, and many other defects are caused by different microbes that grow in dairy products. Milk occasionally has been the carrier of microbes that can cause disease. However, these agents of disease can be effectively controlled. As the new processes and products are developed by the dairy scientists, these must be checked to ensure that these are safe for consumers. So, students, many ordinances and other regulations under which milk is produced and handled specify quantitative, qualitative, and microbial standards. These standards have shown that under desirable conditions, the numbers of microbes gaining entrance to the product will not exceed certain levels, and also that proper handling of these products will not permit growth beyond certain levels. To a certain degree, the numbers of microbes permitted on these standards usually are far much below the numbers necessary to cause spoilage. Practically, this result into a gradual upgradation of microbial standards for different dairy products. Because of this type of control, the packaged milk produced by dairy industries is of high microbial quality and hence safe to the consumers. So, students, now we are going to study significances of microbes in milk. First, information on microbial load can be used to assess its sanitary quality and the conditions of production. Second, bacteria, if permitted to multiply, cause spoilage of milk. Milk is potentially susceptible to contamination with pathogens. However, precautions must be taken to destroy them. Certain microbes produce chemical changes that are desirable in the production of cheese, yogurt, and fermented milk products. So, students, there is a need for knowledge of the microbiology of different dairy products as shown by the three distinct considerations placed below. First, spreading of diseases via milk. Different studies have proved that diseases in both man and animals are sometimes caused by the pathogens spread by milk, although the presence of such microorganisms is not specific only to foods from dairy but from a variety of other sources also. However, it is especially serious with the dairy products because these are mostly consumed without being heated and thus without destruction of harmful microorganisms. Accordingly, the sources of pathogens in dairy products, conditions under which they grow, and methods of prevention or destroying them is essential. Such a knowledge is important to the manufacturer of dairy products because of the responsibility of producing only safe foods, and it is of extreme importance for the supervisor of dairy plants as the inspection is the final protection efforts to the consumer. Although the manufacturer and supervisor should ensure consumer safety, but it is also desirable that the consumers are well aware to decide whether a particular dairy product is satisfactory or not. Similarly, the farmer using milk or milk products for animals feeding should know the probability of introducing diseases into his herds through such products. So, students, the hygienic milk production practices, proper handling and storage of milk, and pasteurization have decreased the threat of milk-borne diseases such as tuberculosis, brucellosis, and typhoid fever. However, there have been a number of milk-borne illnesses resulting from the ingestion of raw milk or dairy products made with milk that was not properly pasteurized or was poorly handled, leading the post processing contamination. The following bacterial pathogens are of major concern to in raw milk and other dairy products: Bacillus cereus, Campylobacter jejuni, Escherichia coli, Listeria monocystogenes, Salmonella, Yersinia enterocolitica. It should be noted that molds, mainly the species of Aspergillus, Fusarium, and Penicillium, can also grow in milk and dairy products. If conditions permit, these molds may produce mycotoxins that can be health hazard to the consumers. So, students, now we are going to study the process of spoilage of milk. Microorganisms, as a result of their growth or biochemical activities, cause undesirable changes in milk and are responsible for spoilage. The producer of milk should be aware of the sources of microorganisms causing rapid changes, conditions flavoring their growth, and methods of preventing their activity. The manufacturer of milk products must contend with problems similar to those of producer of milk and additional ones also, as butter, cheeses, etc., are frequently stored for longer periods, during which may further decrease quality. The problem of spoilage is especially important with the cheeses. They require ripening since conditions must be favorable for growth of certain desirable microorganisms and may also allow the growth development of undesirable ones. So, students, the initial microbial quality of raw milk is quite crucial for the production of good quality dairy foods. Spoilage is a term used to describe the deterioration of a food's texture, color, odor, or flavor to the point where it becomes unsuitable for human consumption. Microbial spoilage of food often involves the degradation of protein, carbohydrates, and fats by the microorganisms or their enzymes. In milk, the microorganisms that are mainly involved in spoilage are psychrotrophs. Most psychrotrophs are destroyed by pasteurization. However, some like Pseudomonas fluorescens, Pseudomonas fragi can produce proteolytic and lipolytic extracellular enzymes that are heat stable and capable of causing spoilage. Some species and strains of Bacillus clostridium, Corynebacterium, Arthrobacter, Lactobacillus, Microbacterium, Micrococcus, and Streptococcus can survive pasteurization and grow at refrigeration temperatures that can cause spoilage problems in milk and milk products. So, students, now we are going to study the developing desirable microorganisms in some milk products. The pleasing flavor of dairy products as butter, cheeses, and fermented milks, and the desired texture of many dairy products are largely due to the development of certain microorganisms during manufacture and ripening. An understanding of the action of these organisms, conditions favoring their growth, etc., is important and necessary if products having a uniformly high quality are to be produced and marketed. The manufacturing methods used for certain dairy products were developed empirically even before the role of microorganisms was understood, but various valuable improvements have resulted from the knowledge of the action of the important microorganisms. So, students, thank you very much for listening this lecture.